Hello, everyone. Tone Deaf Monk. Just a short one today. Just wanted to share my impressions after a few days of burn-in of the CCA Pianist. Nice little IEM again, doing that metal top and the resin bottoms. And this one is a bit different in the shell shape and the fact that this nozzle quite long actually. So it takes a little bit of fitment to get them to go right. Here I've used a Whizzer SS20 Whizzer Easy Tips SS20. They're really short and they're super comfy and they seem to do a fabulous job. So let's get right into it, shall we? How do they sound? Well, they are a neutral bright with a bit of a bass boost on the bottom end, and the bass, well, I'll get to that. So, not a lot to complain about. I mean, $40 US, so not terrible. In fact, that's very reasonable. And so you get a single dynamic driver and two BAs inside of this. I really squished that one down in there, didn't I? So, and I love these tips too because the fact that they're really wide bore, you can see that you can see directly down into the nozzle. It's not constricting anything at all. And I find that helps with stage because, well, let's still talk about this bad boy, okay? So, neutral, mid-centric, little bit of a bass boost, neutral bright, I would say. Starting off in your journey, here I've got it paired with a gold graphene, no silver, in the cable, just because I wanted to warm it up. And that's what gold does to, in my opinion. What I hear is that gold kind of thickens the mid-range up a bit. And you can, I could tell that from this one. So, sources as well. So I talked about tips, I talked about cable. Sources, warmer, right? So if you got a CSS dongle or a DAP with Serious Logic, I find them just a little warm, or an older, something, AKM maybe, to bring it out. Whatever source you have, if you have it warmer, that would be better. So if you're driving it off a phone, no problem. Just maybe choose a dongle that has a little bit of warmth to it. That would be my recommendation. Does it have bass? Yeah, it has bass punch, more of the mid bass than it did be sub bass, and it takes a back seat to the mids. So if a song or a track has bass in the mix, it will play it and nicely. So quality of the bass, just not quantity. I'll pull up a graph. You can see that as well if you like looking at those. Like bring life back to music. Daft Punk. It was punchy, right? It was enjoyable. Sure, EDM. Why not? For the mids, definitely because it's more mid-centric and it plays on the bright side, you will find that female vocals definitely sound better than male vocals do. Male vocals seem to play a tad thin. I felt that it's just this tuning that, and some people are going to like it. Some people like a thicker, warmer sound, where these would be on the thinner side. So this would be considered more of a brighter, kind of thinner tonality in the vocals in the mids versus warm and dark. So But female vocals are outstanding. Male vocals, you could clearly tell that needed a little bit more note weight for my preferences. And they play forward in the mix, the vocals do. So that's what I mean by mid-centric. So the mids are really front and center, and then you get a little bit of the enhancement with the bass, and then of course the BAs are doing great for the high end. Now, these BAs do show their little bit of their weakness. Just when things have a lot of information or a busy track, they tend to get a little shouty. I found with vocals anyway. There was one track that really stood out for me that sorry seems to be the hardest word. It was Ray Charles and Elton John. So both two male singers. You could tell it sounded shouty and a bit forward. So, in another track too, where it actually did do really well was in a Metallica song, the live from the S&M 2 album from Metallica, the Call of Cthulhu. I don't know how to pronounce that. Lots of string details. And the bass hits were nice, but they're pushed back into the mix. The high end didn't turn sibilant or sharp on this track. And if you preferred an IEM that was less bassy, these would probably, you'll like this one. And not everyone likes bassy IEMs, and they want to have a more mid-centric sound. You know, for $40, they did a pretty good job. You know, KZ, I've got the Cantor, the both versions of that, and by the sounds of it, I think they're my favorite KZ so far. And the same as the CCA. I really like this little one for what it is. It's not my preferred tuning, but I can see how some people would definitely like it. I mean, it gives you a good taste of what BAs can bring to the mix for $40. So that's what I mean by there wasn't a whole lot to complain about in this set. So stage is probably my biggest gripe here, even though these things go really deep into your ears, which is normally a good thing, and you get some great stage. Not finding it on this set. I find it more intimate, definitely within your headspace. There is decent width, but the depth and the height, that one Royal Philharmonic song where you can hear the different bass players from the right to the left in the mix, normally comes forward and goes across to you, starts from the back and moves to the front, right to left, and there was a little bit, but not a lot. The right to left, no problem, but not in the depth. So intimate stage, that's what I'm going to call it as well. So that's how I listened and I heard the CCA Pianist. That's how I heard him. Thank you much to KZ for sending these out to me. It was a surprise and a joyful one. I did enjoy my time with this. As I said, it's not typically my preferred tuning, but I can still see the appeal to others with this set, and it doesn't do a whole lot of bad things. It's not overly shouty, it's not overly sibilant, there's not a terrible amount of BA timbre. Even in more expensive sets you get that. The Dunu Vulcan was one of the worst cases that I've ever heard of BA timbre, where this has very little of that, if not none. I mean, there was a little bit of sibilance, a little bit of shoutiness, but that's also could be my preference as well, to have a little bit more warmer sound. So overall, I thought it was a decent set, vocal wise, especially if you listen to female vocals, would be something you might want to consider on this set. This is the Tone Deaf Monk. Thank you very much for watching my videos once again, and I'm out for now.